you think that you could ever go vegan in the future?
I mean, I might have to in the future, the way things are going.
My name is Natalie, and I'm here with
Asher Griffith.
And today we're going to be talking a bit about dogfighting. So your general thoughts on dogfighting, you said you think it's bad, is that right?
Yeah, I'm opposed to dogfighting.
And why are you opposed to dogfighting?
I think it's cruel to make the animals kill each other for sport. I mean, you know, there's the scene in Django Unchained where they make the enslaved people kill each other for their entertainment, and that's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Okay, so I'm going to try to see if I can come up with like logical arguments in defense of dogfighting, and you're going to tell me if you think they're good. All right, so humans are smarter and more dominant than dogs, therefore we should be able to treat them however we want.
I think that the fact that we are smarter and larger than most dogs, like, means that we should nurture and protect them.
Oh, okay.
as in the case of many things.
Yeah, so like basically our intelligence doesn't give us the right to do whatever, it gives us the right to protect.
It gives us the responsibility to protect.
I like that answer. Okay, so what if I said that I should be able to participate in dogfighting because I enjoy it and it brings me a lot of pleasure?
I mean, it might make me very happy to, like, poop on the sidewalk, but I think it would, like, still make other people's days worse, so it's kind of irrelevant, right?
Do you like pooping on sidewalks?
I mean, I don't do it because that would be kind of gross. It's probably bad for public health.
Yeah, I've never stepped in human poop, but I would rather not. Okay, so what if I said that the dogs are bred for this purpose, and if it weren't for dogfighting, they wouldn't exist in the first place?
Well, yeah, that sort of, I mean, how would I respond to that? I mean, that kind of goes back to the we're more intelligent than them question. Like, if they if pit bulls wouldn't exist because there was no such thing as dogfighting, I mean, the world might be a less colorful place than it is right now, but I guess we wouldn't know.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to think of another argument to that could be like, if I had a kid, that doesn't give me right to like beat the kid just because like I'm the reason the kid existed, right?
No, that's definitely true. Okay, so from the other way around, the fact that pit bulls do exist certainly doesn't give us the right to make them kill each other. Yeah.
What if I said that people have been dogfighting for thousands of years? Does that make it okay?
I mean, like, genital mutilation of young women happened for thousands of years, and it finally stopped. And
still happens in some places,
right.
Doesn't it?
Right, still.
Yeah.
It does happen in some places. So, I don't think that I don't think a legacy of a thing excuses it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Okay, what if I said that it's part of my culture and like a lot of my friends do it and it's just something that we value as a community? Would that make it okay?
No. I'm a Christian, and I don't, more a cultural Christian than an actual one, but I don't, hate gay people or like Donald Trump as a matter of, seeming to be like the general zeitgeist of the Christian community.
So basically you mean that just because it's a kind of cultural doesn't mean that it gives you the right to discriminate or something?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think that there are lots of cultures that, consider certain people to be inferior, and I don't think that makes it okay to feel that way.
I agree, yeah, and I mean, to go back to female genital mutilation, that's cultural, too.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see. Next set of questions. Do you think humans need to eat animals to survive and thrive?
I mean, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I know that I know that factory farming is harmful, but I'm also not in any way morally opposed to the idea of eating animals.
Okay. So you do consume animal products?
I do, yes.
And I'm curious what your primary reasons for doing so are, because for me it was mostly like taste and kind of culture that we live in.
Sure, I grew up eating them, and I think they're delicious. Um, yeah.
Do you think?
I also I tend to, when possible, I'll shop at Whole Foods and I'll get the pasture raised eggs and things, because I don't like the idea of the animals being mistreated before they're slaughtered and consumed.
Do you think that there's a moral difference between dogs and say a pig or a chicken or a cow?
I mean, I wouldn't say a person was a monster if they raised corgis for slaughter, but it would be hard for me to imagine eating my dog.
So I'm curious, I want to go back to the part where you said it was delicious. Do you think your enjoyment of these products, does that make consuming them okay?
Well, again, I think that I don't have any moral opposite. I don't have any moral arguments against eating meat.
What about the fact that the animals are suffering, kind of like they are in dogfighting?
Sure. All right, you got me there, but so yeah, I guess there's an argument for that. But again, I think if animals are allowed to be raised, sustainably and what do you call it? If they have good lives before they're killed, then I think it's I don't think that it's a horrible thing.
So you would say that killing them is okay as long as their lives are okay?
Yeah, I would. And I guess this kind of goes back to that whether we're as a more intelligent dominant species than a chicken, say. I think that there's a predator-prey dynamic there that we've bent to our will, our devices, and we've made it more efficient. And then
you were talking earlier about kind of the responsibility we had to care for the innocent and vulnerable. Do you think that?
What I was just about to say is that the fact that so I think it's animal abuse if chickens are kept in little 1 square foot cages on top of each other and they're just pooping on each other, and that's terrible. But my mom raises chickens and they're perfectly happy all of the time.
Do you think it's worse, or not worse, but say you have a dog that's really, really happy and then a dog that's suffering, which one would you kill?
Well, if someone said you have to kill one of these dogs?
Yeah, the suffering dog or the happy, healthy one?
Well, I would rather kill the suffering dog, but if I were going to eat it, I would kill the happy dog.
Because you would want the happier.
I would want.
So
it would probably be more and higher quality meat.
But you recognize that that's from your perspective, and from the dog's perspective, it might be better for the suffering one to die.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So question. So you've mentioned animals raised happily. What percentage of animal products in the U.S. do you think come from factory farms?
Oh, I'd say probably a vast majority of them, I'd suspect, I guess.
Yeah, so it's 99%. But the interesting thing is 75% of consumers believe that they're buying ethical products. But in reality, that's only 1% of the market. So the chances are, only 1%.
Right.
So that's a little shocking. But what would be a humane way to kill an animal?
I remember I used to see my I didn't used to see it. I've saw it a couple of times in my life, but my great aunt would just go out and catch a chicken by the head and do that, just swing it around one time real quick, and it seems quick and painless to me, I suppose.
Would you want that ever done to you?
Certainly not, but I suppose that I just have a general desire not to die at all.
Do you think animals do as well?
I think yes, I'm sure it's innate.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like evolution and survival or
Right.
whatever. Well, you said you didn't have any arguments against eating meat. I'm curious what your best argument for it is.
I mean that it's an efficient source of protein, I guess.
Do you think, say you eat like a chicken or a cow, like where do they get their protein?
They just eat grass and bugs.
Yeah, or chickens, a lot of times they're fed soy and corn, but basically they get it from plants. Do you think you could get enough protein from plants?
I know that it's possible for sure. Yeah.
So if you can, live off of plants and get enough protein, get enough nutrients, and then your primary reason for consuming animal products would be enjoyment, do you think that that's a good reason?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Becoming a vegetarian is.
The reason I asked is because when I said that if I enjoyed dog fighting,
Would
you
that
said
be-
that wasn't a good reason. So I'm curious what kind of the moral distinction is.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this.
well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's not a moral distinction, but at the same time, though, I guess I just see I still see dogfighting as more of a it's more of
It seems less necessary, I guess.
yeah, far less necessary and more of just for this just kind of cruelty for the sake of pleasure. But,
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, but eating an animal is more this is something that humans do for survival. Instead.
Sure, but if we don't have to do it to survive, then do you think maybe we need a stronger justification? Because I think we used to need to survive.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that in a perfect world, we would eat way more plants and way less meat because all of the meat would be raised sustainably and carefully and not in factory farms and
So then 99% of the meat supply would be gone. So
Right.
yeah, we'd have to.
eat far fewer animals.
So you've mentioned sustainable a couple times. There are a couple points I want to hit on with that. So when you compare smaller farms to factory farms, the smaller farms are actually less sustainable for the simple reason that the animals have more space. They consume more resources because they're generally alive longer. So factory farming is terrible, but in terms of the environment, it's better than kind of the smaller farms.
Sure, but we wouldn't necessarily would the carbon footprint of 99 factory farms though exceed the carbon footprint of a single
Oh, you mean if we got rid of factory farms?
yeah.
Well, no, that would obviously be a huge help. Yeah. But basically, if you
I don't
consume animals, it takes 14 to 16 times more plants to sustain that diet because the animals eat so many plants throughout their life. So it's another kind of just way to think about it.
Sure.
So do you think there's a good moral justification for eating animals?
I don't think there's a moral justification for it.
So more just kind of the practical. Do you think it would be hard to be vegan, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I would I've never tried it,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't think it would be hard.
Yeah, well, I just asked because before I was vegan, I thought it would have been really hard, and I'm really lazy. And it's actually super easy, especially, in 2022. There are substitutes for everything. Vegan steak came out a few days ago, and apparently it looks and tastes the same. And
I don't think I'd be that interested in finding substitutes for meat if I were just to not eat it. I'd probably just wouldn't eat it.
you'd go full veggie.
Yeah, I don't eat meat for every meal or anything.
Yeah.
I eat most of the time I eat beans, I guess, and
Beans are great.
tortillas and stuff.
Yeah.
Also I eat shit tons of eggs. I eat eggs all the time. So if I were gonna go vegan, I would have a really hard time giving up eggs.
I'm curious, do you know why vegans don't consume eggs? Because that's not something I knew before I looked
I have
into
no
it.
idea. No.
Yeah. So you say a chicken lays an egg. That doesn't really seem bad. But do you know, in the egg industry, what do they do with the male chicks when they're born, keeping in mind they can't lay eggs?
I imagine they probably make them into make them into filler product for dog food or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But how do they do that? Or how do they kill them?
Smush them up? I don't know.
Yeah, basically, you're pretty spot on. Absolutely. It's they're sorted and they go on a conveyor belt and it goes into like a giant macerator, so it just blends up baby male chicks. So that's
terrible. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen.
Right.
So yeah.
Actually, my mom doesn't do that.
No, she has her own chickens. I would hope your mom's not grinding up chicks. Well, do you think that you could ever go vegan in the future?
I mean, I might have to in the future, the way things are going.
Animal agriculture is really bad for the environment. I honestly think we're all going to have to go vegan because...
I was just reading something. It was crazy about how the jellyfish are starting to, I don't remember what kind, but they're starting to multiply really quickly because they reproduce asexually and really quickly. And they also are particularly well suited to like warming waters that other creatures are having a hard time living in, so they're
taking over.
They're taking over, and there's so many of them that like they're like clogging up. They like caused some kind of alarm in Israel when they clogged up some vents in a power plant or something like that, and they'll like are making it hard for fishermen to fish because they're just like gumming up the nets completely. But somewhere off the coast of Georgia, apparently they've started harvesting them, and they turn them into, because they're a great source of protein, and they have been selling the products that they make mostly in the overseas markets somewhere.
America's not ready for the jellyfish yet.
Ready for the jellyfish, I guess. I don't know what a jellyfish food product would look like either. I feel like
Peeps.
Yeah, right.
So this Oxford study in 2018 came out. It's kind of the most comprehensive study that compared different types of farming in 119 different countries. And basically they found that the single biggest way an individual can reduce their impact on the environment was to go vegan. Did you know? Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you could live a life where you harmed humans, harmed animals, or harmed neither, which would you rather do?
I suppose I would choose neither.
Okay. Do you think being vegan would be like more in line with that?
It certainly would, for sure.
Okay. If I gave you a card, would you consider looking at it's this 22-day vegan challenge? They walk you through everything and give you resources, train you on like how to, look into that thing. And if you're worried about eggs, you could always start. That could be the last thing you cut out,
Right.
Would that be something you'd take a look at?
Yeah, I'll look at it, for sure.
Sweet. All right, do you have any questions for me or anything?
No, I'm good, I think.
Cool. All right, thanks, Asher.
Yeah,
and this is going to be part of a 30-day challenge on my YouTube channel, so this interview will be up tomorrow, so you can watch it there.
Cool.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like button, and if you missed yesterday's video, click to the left.